Hello, Mizzo here. Just want to do a quick video where I explain the difference between denotative meaning and connotative meaning. Before we get going, I just want to make sure that you get to see my elephant because it's really awesome. And I have they're kind of coming off, but I have little baby elephants on my hands. And I was wearing elephant pants this week, like pants with elephants on them. Not pants that make me look like an elephant. And so those matched. Okay, so here we go. Denotative meaning and connotative meaning. Denotative meaning, let's go like this. Denotative meaning is what? It's like Blue's Clues. Hopefully you're all saying it with me. The definition according to the dictionary. So it's the dictionary definition of a word. So if you looked up a word, what would it say that word means? So this, where it gets a little tricky, we've talked a little bit about construction of language and reality and whatnot. And Ed Schappa, who, it doesn't matter, but it's impressive that I know that. Ed Schappa talks about how dictionary definitions are actually constructions in themselves, right? So that even denotative definitions are constructed, but those are like the socially agreed upon meaning of a word. And we all know that dictionaries change, dictionaries adapt. Actually, the person who runs social media at the Merriam-Webster dictionary is awesome. If you check out how they add words specifically in terms of like gender and sexuality, they're pretty great. So we know that those are not truth, but those become a very specific type of knowledge or understanding, especially in terms of social shared meaning. So like when I say, I need you to go get me a chair, like we all know what the denotative definition of chair is, right? Connotative meaning is what is socially or emotionally or affectively put on the word. So that meaning, a connotative meaning can be how the word is interpreted within specific contexts. So my favorite story about this is my mom and my sister and I were all at a graduation party for a family friend. Her name is Mal. And my mom had bought Mallory these earrings for graduation. And before we left, my mom really wanted to watch her open them. So, Mal was 18 at the time. She just graduated high school. And my sister and I are older than her. And so we're standing, my mom is in between my sister and I, and Mallory opens the earrings and she looks down at the earrings and she goes, "Ah, sick." And my mom turns pale. She's like, "What?" Because of course, the denotative meaning of the word sick is ill, right? Gross, ill, yucky. But of course, Mal was connotating that word in the way that at the time was like the hip new slang, right? Oh, it's sick. It's awesome, right? So connotation deals with how we interpret words within context. And of course, remember, those can be social context, those can be interpersonal, or intergroup, right? So think about like how a word might connotate a certain way in a certain group, but then if you say it outside of the group, the word faggot comes to mind here, right? So denotatively, do we all know what the word faggot means denotatively? I'm about to blow some of your minds. Are you ready? It means a bundle of sticks. That's the dictionary definition of the word faggot. It means a bundle of sticks. So, Mizzo, how did the word faggot get connotated to be a slang word for gay men or gay individuals, right? Well, let me tell you. In times where they were burning witches at the stake in England, there was a social myth that the only thing that could get a fire hot enough to burn the sin out of a witch, I am not making this up, were gay men. Those were the only thing that were like more sinful that could get the fire hot enough. So they would throw gay men onto the fire when they burned witches with the faggots, with the bundles of sticks. Therefore, gay men were then, or that word was then connotated to be applied to gay men, along with the denotative term bundle of sticks. So, but now, right, I have gay friends who use that as a term of endearment, right? Like, oh, you're such a faggot. Oh, my lovely little faggot, right? So, like, depending, but there's also people who that is a super offensive slur, right? Um, Depending on how it's connotated in the social, interpersonal, or group network that you're in. Think of like bitch is another one, right? That like with your friends, you might be able to say like my bitches, and that's connotated as a very like positive, loving term. Whereas like saying, you know, she's such a bitch, right? When people in my life call people a bitch, I'm always like, be more creative. That's not a term I care for, right? So thinking about how words have a shared meaning by the dictionary, but then based on how we are using them, in what context, in what social group, in what relationship we are using, right? How might the word be interpreted? What kind of emotional or affective meaning might we be giving that word? So now start to think, right? Are there words that you use in your family or in your friend group, or that like have multiple meanings that we connotate or take them to mean that way, right? The word queer is another one, similar to faggot, right? So lots of examples of that, and I'm curious, you know, what might be in your life, what words you might think of in terms of denotation and connotation, and how the meanings might be different. And you can see how this would be really important based on who you're talking to, right? Like how you want to make sure that your communication is getting across in the way you intend, right? I would hate to call someone a bitch lovingly and have them take that as like I was saying something really mean about them. Do you see how that might happen? All right, denotation, connotation, meaning of verbal words. Woo! Have a beautiful day.